piercing red siren blared, and the ring on my hand emitted a mysterious light. I slowly opened my eyes on the cold laboratory floor, my gaze full of confusion. Surrounding me was high-tech laboratory equipment. Where is this? I saw a faint tattoo on my wrist. The wheels of a laboratory chair hit my foot. That had "Accelerate Human Evolution" written on it. The alarm and the faint sound of machinery continued, and some memory fragments of experiments flashed in my mind. Just then, a man walked in. Seeing me awake, a look of concern appeared on his face. "Leora, are you all right? The ionosphere was unstable during the experiment just now, and you were right in the center of the lab. Are you okay?" he asked anxiously. He intimately tried to check my physical condition, but my body instinctively took a fighting stance, resisting his touch. The ring on my hand suddenly flashed brightly, illuminating his terrified face. "Don't touch me," I said in a loud and firm tone. Facing the man before me, my heart was filled with anger and fear. "Leora, I'm Ethan, your fiancé," he said in a panic, grabbing my shoulder with his hand. A red bracelet was visible on the cuff of his white lab coat. My breathing became erratic, as if I had been thrown into a stranger's life. This man made me feel panicked. I uncontrollably pushed him away, desperately trying to escape. Just then, both our phones rang, and a wanted poster popped up on the screens with my photo. The photo read, "Terrorist, million reward." A terrorist, I exclaimed in shock. Ethan pointed to my wrist. I actually had a terrorist organization's tattoo, exactly the same as the one on the wanted poster. I picked up my phone, and an anonymous text message popped up. "A trap. You've fallen into a trap. He is a liar." My heart suddenly pounded faster. I subconsciously covered the information on the screen, staring wide-eyed at Ethan. Ethan tried to grab my hand, but I skillfully dodged him. I looked up at him, my breath catching in my throat. "What are you going to do?" I demanded. He said seriously, "I am a police officer. You sent us an SOS, begging us to help you escape the control of the terrorist organization. In exchange, you would provide us with the organization's data." My phone received a new anonymous message. "Liar, trap, run fast." My mind screamed, "Who is lying to me? Who am I really?" My expression changed from surprise to anger. "You say I'm a member of a terrorist organization. How is that possible? Liar, impossible," I shouted. Ethan slowly approached me. Just as I was questioning him, a sudden headache sliced through my consciousness like a knife. Some images flashed in my mind, and my memory began to return. Ethan and I embracing. We experimented together. I was being chased. I was running. Someone snatching the data from my hand. I run, fall, the ring flashing in the camera lens. I remember now I was framed. I am innocent. I must escape from here and protect the data. In the memory flash, someone picked something up from the ground and approached me, but I couldn't see his face clearly. I looked at Ethan, my eyes full of complex emotions. "You're my fiancé? You are a police officer? Are you sure?" I asked him. Before he could answer, a helicopter roared, approaching the laboratory window. Ethan shouted, "You go quickly, I love you." The next second, men in black rushed into the room through the window, their uniforms bearing the terrorist organization's insignia. "Catch them!" the men in black yelled. Ethan fought hard to block them, shielding me behind him. I clenched my fist, and the ring in my fingers glowed. "Hurry, go," Ethan urged me. We used the lab bench for cover from the bullets. I instinctively grabbed a liquid nitrogen tank and smashed it towards the men in black, my movements fluid and swift. The lab filled with a frosty mist created by the liquid nitrogen, completely obscuring the view. "You won't get the data, impossible," I heard Ethan shout. In the mist, I vaguely saw the laboratory door and quickly rushed out. I only heard the sound of the lab door being locked behind me and violent kicking on the door. Presumably, the men in black were trapped inside the lab. Just then, a clicking sound came from beside me. The lab chair deformed into a half-human height robot. A shield popped out of its shoulder to protect me. In a flash, a bullet hit the shield, the sound piercing my eardrums. I was shocked. The robot said to me, "I am your Dark Guard robot. Your heart rate and blood pressure just exceeded the critical warning level. The emergency evasion mode has been activated." I felt a headache. The robot transformed into a wheelchair shape, carrying me to a safe place. A screen extended from the wheelchair, displaying an ID with my photo. A special agent ID. Memory flashed back. It turns out, I was not a terrorist. I was an undercover agent. My mission was to seize the terrorist organization's memory chip. I touched the ring. A switch in my brain was completely pressed. I am a special agent. I must complete the mission. I muttered to myself and touched the ring. Before I could fully recover, I received a video on my phone showing Ethan bruised and tortured. Leora, do you believe it? This man seems to love you very much. A masked man's voice came through, accompanied by Ethan's agonizing screams. I stared at the screen in shock. The masked man brought the camera close to Ethan's bloody wounds, and sticky blood dripped onto the lens. My heart sank. The masked man sneered. Tell me, is killing difficult? You're also killing, aren't you? Killing a man who loves you. Another scream came from the video. The masked man leaned his head into the camera, provoking, Are you going to save the world? Will you use his life to save the world you want? Ha ha ha, huss, ha ha. Will you be willing to come and save him? Suddenly, more memory fragments appeared in my mind. Ethan's gentle, smiling eyes and his tortured, painful expression superimposed. I suddenly stood up, my eyes becoming resolute. Location, I commanded. Waiting for you, the masked man said triumphantly. I arrived at the designated location and entered a deserted factory to fight the terrorists. Punching, striking, rolling, and dodging. My fighting ability was so formidable that it surprised even me, with 0-second reaction time for every move. However, in order to save Ethan, the masked man took the opportunity to snatch my ring. Ethan shouted, Run, they won't let us go. The explosion's fire rushed to the sky. Ethan threw himself onto me. My vision went black, and only dead silence remained in my world. I woke up in the hospital. Ethan was watching over me anxiously. The police came and took notes. Ethan sat in a wheelchair, looking at me affectionately. My body recovered day by day. Ethan pushed his wheelchair into my ward. He asked, Do you want to go out for some fresh air today? I sat in the wheelchair. The wheelchair silently started up. I put my hand on my ear and the wheelchair sent a greeting through bone conduction vibration. Are you feeling better? In the hospital garden, Ethan handed me a bottle of water. I placed the water on the armrest of the wheelchair and the wheelchair quietly alerted. Sedative in the water. My heart immediately turned cold. I realized that Ethan's plea for rescue was a conspiracy. Ethan placed my hand on his plastered left hand, gripping my hand affectionately with his right hand. He took off the bracelet on his wrist and put it on mine, gazing at me with deep affection. I clearly saw a faint flash of light coming through the plaster cast on his left hand. Ethan said, Thank you for coming to save me. I only got a chance to survive because of you. This is a protective bracelet passed down in my family. I hope it can protect you forever. Looking at the affection he was faking, I said coldly, Ethan, you liar. I clenched my fist and with a bang, smashed the plaster cast on Ethan's left hand. My ring, the one the masked man had stolen, was on his left hand. Your goal is to acquire the experimental data merged within my body, isn't it? I demanded. After being discovered, he stopped pretending and revealed a ferocious expression. He sneered. As long as the ring and the bracelet meet, the data fused into your body can be read. He also tightly held the hand on which I was wearing the bracelet. He said smugly, However, the data can only be downloaded when you are in a good mood. Now the download is complete. I smiled and said in a triumphant tone, Really? I stood up from the wheelchair. Ethan viciously kicked the wheelchair away and tried to push me down. The wheelchair bounced up and transformed into a robot in the air. It instantly transformed back into the wheelchair shape. The edge of the wheelchair seat struck Ethan's knee. He uncontrollably tumbled onto the wheelchair. Handcuffs extended from the armrests and footrests of the wheelchair, firmly binding him. I smiled and said, Really? My mood is very good. Ethan struggled in the wheelchair, but it was no use. I retrieved the ring and put it on my hand. Thank you for your bracelet. I accept your blessing. Ethan turned pale and continued to struggle in the wheelchair. The wheelchair automatically injected him with a sedative, and Ethan's vision blurred. Simultaneously, his accomplices in the distance were also arrested by the police. After handing the ring and the bracelet over to the arriving police officers, I thought the matter was over. Until, in the instant the lightning struck, my mind completely exploded. Memories returned like a tide. I was the founder of the terrorist organization. The map showed numerous Accelerate Human Evolution labs operating worldwide. My throat tightened. Why did I do all this? Suddenly, my phone received a message. Boss, the experiment was successful. I touched the necklace on my chest. I whispered to myself, the game has just begun.